occurring more and more across the Commonwealth, across the United States, and especially in small rural localities such as ours, and that is getting EMS calls answered in a timely fashion. Volunteerism is, I guess, suffering in the sense that I guess people are busier now than they used to be. They don't seem to have the time to commit. Getting new members in that you can rely on to answer those calls day after day is getting tougher. The training is getting tougher and longer. Restrictions, mandates, protocols from the state level are getting tougher, and it puts a lot of pressure on our volunteers. And again, this isn't just us. There are a lot of other localities facing this same issue and have gone the route of supplementing their volunteers with paid EMS staff. And what we're looking at doing specifically is helping our volunteers during daylight hours, weekdays, at least starting at that level. Dwayne, feel free to chime in anytime here. Dwayne and I met with the Intergovernmental Committee last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. That's the second time we've been to that committee. I know Mr. Bennett and Mr. Garton were both there, and they asked us to be here. We also have met with Clifton Ford's Town Council at one of their work sessions, just to answer questions and explain the process thus far and where we are. We have met with local EMS personnel, mostly captains or their representative from each agency, to discuss this and come up with some options. We batted ideas back and forth. We have come up with some preliminary figures as far as startup costs to the best of our knowledge, and those that are part of this committee. But basically, we just wanted to let you know that where we are and answer any questions you may have. The committee itself has come up with 3 options, and I'll just lay those out if you have any questions. The first option is that the county, and this is by the way, I'm considering this a joint venture between the county and the city. When I say county, I'm talking county and city of Covington. The first option would be that we would, the localities would hire EMS personnel and staff trucks locally. Probably 2 trucks would be on a shift, 2 men on each truck, 1 east, 1 west, and they would work in conjunction with the volunteers. If a volunteer crew happens to be at a station and can answer an EMS call, volunteer staff gets the call. The paid truck goes back into service, waits for the next call. The second option would be what we would call chase vehicles. You have a 2-man crew in an SUV that would drive to the scene and assist the volunteer agency with treatment, and then the volunteer agency would transport. And there's some pros and cons to each of these, and we can talk about those in a minute. The third option would be to outsource and bring a third party in to oversee the operation of EMS, transport services, and all. And that would be, as far as what the committee has discussed, that would be a last resort to outsource. You get no return on your investment. And plus, there is the issue that whatever company you bring in, that they may look at hard billing the patients versus soft billing, which is what all of our agencies currently do, as far as soft billing, recoup costs, billing the insurance. So those are the 3 options that have been discussed at length. Again, pros and cons to each. The pros to doing it in-house is we have a say-so over how that agency operates and who it employs, and we can make sure we provide the best level of care for our citizens. A con with the second option I mentioned, which would be the chase vehicles. Yes, you have paid people going to the scene to assist, but if the volunteer agency can only get a driver, then you still don't have a way to transport that person to the hospital. Unless the paid staff goes with them, but then you have a volunteer agency and your paid personnel both out of service. And of course,